Could you tell us a little bit about the night you slept in your car? What was going on in your mind? Did you find yourself depressed?
Boy, that was a very tough time in my life. Um, that happened in December 2022, right before Christmas. And for about a year, I had been sleeping on the couch downstairs because it was the only place I could find any level of comfort. I couldn't sleep in my bed anymore. I hadn't done that for almost a year. So I would sleep downstairs. But on that one particular night, the pain got so bad. No matter what position I laid in, no matter what I did, I couldn't take it anymore. And I mean that, I absolutely couldn't take it. And I remember going upstairs, waking up Michelle. I scared her because it was like 1:30 or 2 o'clock in the morning, and she was worried, what's going on? And I told her, I said, Michelle, I don't care what I have to do. I got to do something about this pain. I really couldn't take any more painkillers because I had taken everything that was allowed, and I wasn't getting addicted to anything, but I just took what I could. So she said, hey, Greg, the one thing you said is that you might be able to find a position in your car that would be semi-comfortable. And I said, that might work. So I went out to my car in the garage. It was December and it was cold. I put my down jacket on. I put my great big golf mittens on. I, got a blanket and went in the car. And from about 2 o'clock that morning until about 8 o'clock in the morning, I tried to sleep as best I could in my car. And I did. I call it the night I slept in my car. And I was more than a little bit depressed. Now, what I'm going to say next, I'm not proud of. Some of you have heard me say this before. But at that point, I was depressed. And I remember telling Michelle, it scared her, but I said, Michelle, I really don't care if I live or if I die. Because right now, this is so bad. This is not considered life. And I was ready to go to the Lord if He was going to take me.
Greggy J, I know that there are people who know you and they say that they never understood or they never knew about what you were going through. How would you kind of explain that?
Well, I'm somewhat embarrassed by it, Stenny, because quite honestly, I should have never hidden it. But I'm a very positive person. I've always been accused of wearing rose-colored glasses. And again, like I said earlier, Janicki's, you just kind of do what you've got to do. But I put on a facade of positivity. I kept thinking, I'll get through this, I'll work through it. And I didn't want people to feel sorry for me, I didn't want people to wonder what's going on. But it finally got to the point where I'm walking around with a cane. And so I started becoming reclusive. I wasn't spending time with my buddies up at the club. I wasn't going out. I was just staying at home because I didn't want to be around other people because I'd have to be a fake. I didn't like that. So I just kind of stayed away from others, and I'm not proud of it, but I put on a facade so that I could help get through that time of my life.
You spoke to a couple of different surgeons, right?
Yes. So what I did is my spine doctor, Dr. Cody, he was giving me some epidurals to try to get me through some of the pain. And, he said, Greg, if this doesn't work, if it doesn't last for a period of time, you're just going to have to do something about it. So I did go get the MRIs, and Dr. Cody recommended a couple surgeons. One was a neurosurgeon, one was an orthopedic surgeon. And the reason I wanted to go to two is I wanted to get two different opinions on what they saw. Well, both surgeons saw exactly the same thing as Dr. Cody. I needed a bilateral discectomy between L4 and L5. They explained to me the same thing. The nerves in the canals were being pinched because of arthritis, getting old, and some of the disc fragments that had been in there, and they said, we got to clean them out. Well, I chose to go to the orthopedic surgeon, Dr. Jeffords. And the primary two reasons I did that, one, he had been recommended by several folks that I knew, but the other thing was it was less invasive. And the neurosurgeon, excellent surgeon, but it was going to be a little bit longer recovery period because although it's the same basic operation, they go through a little different procedure. So I went with the orthopedic surgeon, and he said, Greg, there are certain things you're going to have to do after surgery, but you should experience a full recovery.
Now, how soon after all this did you start to experience relief from the leg pain?
Oh, the night of the surgery. I mean, it was the first night that I had surgery that I did not have any pain in my legs. The nerve pain was completely gone. Now, there was a little bit of pain where the actual incision was and where they did that, but that's nothing. A couple painkillers and you're fine. But there was no nerve pain. I slept in my own bed that night. It was amazing. So it was immediate for me.
Now, you told me about an exercise and a flexibility program that you started right after the surgery. What was it? What was it called, and how did it come about?
Well, how it came about is anybody who watches or listens to, I should say, PGA Golf on Sirius XM, one of the morning programs is Michael Breed, called A New Breed of Golf. And I used to listen to him many, many mornings. And he would advertise for a company called Par for Success. And Michael seemed very adamant about the fact that this flexibility work is going to help your golf game. And I listened to it and felt pretty strong that maybe this would help me out, especially after the surgery. Maybe I can play a little bit better golf. So this is exactly what happened. 5 weeks and 6 days after surgery, I called in the Michael Breed show. And I got him. And he asked who I was, blah, blah, blah. And I said, Michael, quick question. My surgery was 6 weeks ago tomorrow. And I'm thinking about getting into Par for Success because I'd like to see if maybe now that I've had the back surgery, I'll start getting better. But I'm wondering if I should start that program right now or wait a few more weeks because I'm still not out of full recovery. Without hesitation, Michael Breed said, you start Par for Success immediately. He said, you be sure to tell your coach exactly what you're doing, how you're feeling, tell him what you had done. He'll walk you through the process. So I started Par for Success literally 6 weeks after my surgery. Now, it has changed my physical life. Now, Par for Success doesn't give me anything for saying this. In fact, I don't even know if they know I'm saying this, other than maybe my coach. But within a matter of weeks after that, I'm able to start doing things from a flexibility standpoint that I couldn't do for literally a half a century, 50 years. Somebody says, Greg, what is that? Well, I could bend down, touch my toes, my legs together without bending my knees. I haven't been able to do that since I was a swimmer in college at age 20.
So it sounds like you're a strong advocate for Par for Success, am I right?
I am, but Par for Success advertises for what they'll do for your golf game. For me, it's not about the golf. I've learned through Par for Success that I can accomplish and do things today that I could never have thought I could do again. And that includes Challenge 200. If it were not for the flexibility, the coaching, and all the training that they're giving me, all the exercise routines that they're giving me, there is no way that I could get through the training regimen that is laid out for me for Challenge 200.
But you weren't done with surgery, were you?
Oh no. On November 14th, I went in for meniscus surgery. My right knee has been bothering me for years. So I finally had to get an MRI on it and found out that the meniscus on both the outside and the inside of my right knee was torn. So I elected for surgery and I went to go see Dr. Mahan, and November 14th, he did what he did and I was ready to go.